I'd like to welcome y'all to Secrets from the South. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, along with my co-host Terry. Now, you'll quickly catch on that we don't sound like the man on the 6 o'clock news. We talk a little slower, and we've got a southern drawl. But nonetheless, we've got a great podcast lined up just for you. We'll bring you some interesting stories. They're sometimes crazy and a little unbelievable, but it would be just plain impolite not to share them. So get yourself comfortable. Find some southern charm in a glass of iced tea and enjoy. Terry and I would like to thank you for joining us for another episode of Secrets from the South. If you're a first-time listener, well, get ready. It's going to be a great episode. This week across the Deep South, it's been warm and our temperatures are starting to rise into the 90s once again. Well, which makes the humidity in the South just terrible. Maybe that has something to do with this week's episode. Have you looked around lately with everybody panic buying? Buying stuff they don't really need? Yeah, it's a rash of this going around the nation right now, and I guess it's because they're hot and irritable. Well, maybe. We hope you enjoy this week's episode titled, The Panic Buyer. You know, as I stand here and I look around each day and I see the news headlines, Terry, is the world headed to heck in a handbag? Is there a better way to say that?
I don't know, because when you look at the crazy things that people are doing and the crazy things that are going on around us, it kind of makes you pause for a second and wonder if we are.
Oh, it does. And, you know, then there's the extreme portion of that, because I've heard so many people go, you think this is it? You think this is the end of time? It's just a revelation.
You've had people that ask that?
Oh, yeah. I hear that all the time. It's just so many freaky things that are going on that people are taking serious now.
Well, I guess when you come off of I guess it's safe to say we're coming off of, we're definitely seeing a decline from a pandemic, which most of us in our lifetime have never experienced. No. And then all the craziness that has gone on with it, it would make you wonder.
And as you mentioned, craziness, I have never seen. Let's go back. When was that? The toilet paper. The toilet, what was that called? The great toilet paper? What was it?
Oh, yeah, I would say that you probably saw, and I think it's even in the, there's even an article that says starting in February that they started to see a shortage and a run on paper products and in cleaning products and definitely, antibacterial stuff.
But people were fighting in stores over this. And then the people that really didn't need it just went out and bought hundreds and hundreds of it and probably still got it shoved in their house that didn't need it then.
Well, your mama has some.
Yeah, she sure does. and then you've got people, it causes a run on things that was unnecessary.
Take, for instance, the thing that we're facing right now in the Southeast.
Oh, that's a gasoline.
Gas.
So have you been to the store and tried to buy any?
You know, the irony of that is, one day this week, and I want to say it was Monday, I actually got in my car on Friday coming home, and it's one of those things where you realize the light comes on.
Yeah.
But it says you've got 40 to 50 miles. I got home, parked my car, everything else that we did was in my husband's vehicle. So I never got back in it. Got back in the car, going to work on Monday, and the light, it comes on. But I mean, I've still got plenty of mileage. So I go to work, and on the way home, I'm like, I got to get gas. So I stop at one place, and I have to tell you, I really do not like this gas station. And I keep saying every time I stop there, that's going to be the last time, because they've had some stupid things where a pump wasn't working.
Right.
Well, I'm sitting there pumping for 15 minutes and finally go in and they say, well, the pump's not working. And I said, well, you think you might want to put a sign out that lets people know? So something similar happened and I couldn't get gas. Couldn't get it where it says, come see cashier. I hate that.
Oh, yeah.
When you're trying to do it on debit.
Swipe
and I said, I'm not doing that. So I do credit. And then it lets me pump 7 cents worth of gas.
7
cents.
I think they're trying to hack your car.
Well, and then it just goes loose. The handle does. So I'm frustrated. I have to go in, and the girl's there, and she said, oh, yeah, we're out of gas. I think, honestly, this is no lie. I think it's that particular station. Because, again, this is the same place that had a pump that was malfunctioning that didn't even think it would warrant letting people know.
Right. And that's bad. That's laziness.
And so I thought, and there were cars literally that were getting wheels, just getting out of there. They were so frustrated. So that's just what I attributed it to. I go to the next one, get gas, and I'm on my way. I go home. It's that night where you see it on national news.
Yeah.
You see it on Facebook that everybody and their brother is finding that there's no gas. And guess what that causes?
panic.
Panic. And that's what we're seeing today.
But what so many people don't realize that are buying this stuff, the average shelf life of gasoline with this old ethanol stuff in it, that's the corn. It's not much good to store up if you're not going to use it for more than 3 to 4 months, 6 months at most. It goes bad.
I didn't know that.
So you don't, this ethanol gas is the absolute worst that you can put on your car. It gums up your carburetor over a period of time, your fuel injection system. It gets it. Like if you run that in a weed eater, year at most is all you're going to have that weed eater.
Well, I know that's why when we run our weed eater or our blower,
chainsaw,
or something like that, it says that you have to go buy a special
non-ethanol.
Gas. Yeah, we have to go to Lowe's.
Yeah,
and get it. So, but I mean, you've had people. So I did not know. Now I look like I was somebody that was one of those folks, but I think there's a certain percentage of folks that truly needed to get gas.
Absolutely.
And then I think there's the others. I mean, Facebook, Instagram blowing up about you better get gas.
And you saw the 55-gallon drums. People have 6 of them on a trailer filling up. Well, that's a lot. Those whole 55 gallons, you think about it, golly, I'd hate to be paying for that.
And what the cost of it was.
Yeah.
Because we're saying that the average price of gas has gone up.
$3. But did you see North Carolina?
No.
$9.98. And I don't care who you are, what you're doing, that's price gouging.
It is. And I think that national news said that North Carolina had been hit the worst.
Yeah, it has.
Let's just talk about for a minute that, okay, there is widespread panic on that. But does that give you comfort that when something happens, we just go ape blank crazy?
We do. Common
sense goes out the window.
And it goes right back to that toilet paper thing there. Now, I got a map pulled up in front of you and I, and if you'll look at this, from that pipeline, only 8% of our fuel in this state comes from that pipeline. The rest of it comes from the coast, is shipped in.
Well, you need to tell the crazy folks that were out there buying it.
Now, as you get into the Carolinas there, you'll see that 69% of it come from...
And that's the one they said had been hit the hardest.
Right. And that's a lot. DC's been hit pretty hard by it. People just don't... It's everything's out the window. No... You don't look out for it's all for me at that point.
Oh, yeah. At that point, looking out for your neighbor, that's gone.
Yeah.
It's every man for himself.
And we done that episode, what was it, close to a year ago on prepping. This ain't prepping. This is stupidity.
Who needs, what'd you say
55-gallon drums.
55-gallon drums of gasoline.
Right. If you got a farm, you're going to have a fuel tank on your farm.
I mean.
Truthfully.
And that probably is somebody driving 2 little 4-cylinder vehicles.
Right.
That they think they need that amount of gas.
Okay, let's go to the next stupid part of this. And I don't care who you are. If you've got Facebook, you've seen this. And at first I thought this is one of those, you know how they do all these pranks on Facebook, try to make it look real?
Yeah.
I thought, that's a prank. No one in the United States, and I got to say it again, is that stupid. But apparently I'm wrong, and there's people with issues that I didn't know that they had those deep issues. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. But I'm afraid to see what you're going to say.
Well, taking a Walmart bag and filling it with gasoline. Okay, come on, folks. Gas eats plastic.
A Walmart bag?
A Walmart bag.
Like a shopping bag.
A shopping bag. She took it, put it in, and it starts running out. So she gets another bag and double does it. And then by the time
they always tell you to double bag now, Scotty.
She quadruple bagged. I have never in my life, gas was going everywhere. And she put that in her car now with the gas running out everywhere. She going to have nothing when she gets home. How do you do this?
No. The bigger question here, you're missing the bigger question is.
Tell me.
How stupid are we? I mean, that just tells you that we have people, and we all know this because we're right now, I guarantee our listening audience is going, I could name a couple of them, that are that stupid they don't have walking around sense.
I know.
And they're behind the wheel of a car.
And that's the ones voting.
With gasoline going everywhere.
It's
You're right. They're firing up a cig about the time they, because that is, you pump some gas. You got it. You're going to lay it in the floorboard and I guess let it go everywhere. And out of just natural habit, fire up that cig.
Well, and where is this? Let's go here. What state is this? This is Florida. A Hummer. This is national headline news. You can look it up. They put 5 or 6 of these 5-gallon gas cans in the back. You would only do that in case it was an emergency. The fumes
because it's
inside,
in confined space.
Yeah, it'll knock you down. But it caught the car on fire. Burn it to the ground.
And not only that, I mean, for the safety of that driver and everybody else that came in contact with that burn up vehicle, you would think, I mean, have they done any kind of OSHA? I mean, not everybody's done OSHA training, and I get that.
Oh, I'm scared of them people.
But confined spaces, how many times have they told you that when you take chemicals and spray them, if you don't have any mechanism for that to dissipate,
right,
you're going to breathe that in. It's not going to be...
It's going to kill you.
Exactly. And so what were they thinking by having that? I guess they thought, well, I'll roll the windows down.
Yeah, and get home. But apparently it bubbled out, leaked or whatever, and caught on fire. And you need a truck to go get gas like that. One time I was mowing grass and my truck was in the shop and I had to go get 5 gallons in I didn't fill it all the way up. I got half of it because you go around a curve and you know what happens. And a Tahoe did not need that in it. And I had all the windows down and I got home and I finished mowing the grass. But that was awful. I admit to doing it. So I'm telling you what I did.
But at least it sounded like you were aware that wasn't a smart thing and you were very cautious in trying to get home.
And I remember when I was 16 and gas was very hard at 16 years old to get because you had to mow grass to earn your money for your car.
Right.
And me and Jimmy Earl had gone to the store. And he had borrowed his brother-in-law's. And, back then, and go back to the Future.
Right.
Do you remember the Toyota 4-wheel drive that is waiting on him at the end of the movie in the garage?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
His brother-in-law had just bought one of them. And it was black, chrome, had roll bar.
Looking good.
Oh, yeah. And so Jimmy Earl has got to show out. Everybody's at the swimming pool and you got to burn rubber. You got to do it.
Yeah, you got to look good.
So he floors it. The tires start squalling in the smoke. And
now, you're in the vehicle with him?
Yeah, I'm in there with him. And then next thing you know, our 10 gallons worth of gas in our jug slams against the tailgate and it's everywhere. We lost all our gas. And that was our going out gas that we were going to put in my car for that night.
So in other words, you stayed put that night.
Yeah, we didn't get to go anywhere. Because I'm telling you, 10 gallons worth of gas was, for us back then, was pretty tough to come by.
But when you think about this whole shortage of gas, which they've said, calm down, folks. I mean, you're panicked over nothing. And when you see the graph, as you've shown, and you see the percentages of the states and really how they were impacted, everybody in Mississippi, everybody in Alabama, everybody in every state is on national TV where there are lines 2 miles long, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting to get $10 worth of gas.
Well, here's the next. I don't know if you're even aware of this one because there's been a flood on this. Even the people that dislike them have been trying to go get it because they couldn't get it. And that's at Chick-fil-A, the sauce. There's a shortage. They've put out the message of we can only give you one, and people are lining up trying to get it because they can't get it. I'm telling even the people that dislike Chick-fil-A wanted it.
Well,
Scotty,
Scotty,
what's it coming to?
I tell you what we need to do. This is going to be our last episode. Maybe we'll have a run on we got to have more episodes.
Yes, we do.
That would be a bad problem to have, but it does make you think. I mean, we just throw common sense out the window.
And here's another one, and this was released this week. Prices are fixing to skyrocket, so be ready. And fortunately, it's not my favorite part of the chicken. Now, I love me some chicken.
The wings.
Yeah, I love chicken, but the wing is not my favorite because there ain't much meat on it.
I've heard that they're going to have a chicken shortage. I hate it for all these. And you got chickens.
I got chickens here.
You better be on your, you might better start doing night patrol.
Oh my gosh, yeah, my chickens come up missing. But, and then now let's talk about the next thing that, and this is greed, I think. I don't really, it is a shortage, but it's greed on companies. It gotta be. Lumber, a 2x4, lumber's gone up 280% is what the last figure I saw. For a 1,400 square foot house, it costs you $36,000 more to build, just the lumber, not anything else, just the lumber, $36,000 more. A 2x4 that was $2.30 before all this happened is $8 now.
I mean, everything has gone crazy, and we all know why. We don't have the workers to produce the product. And that's a whole different saga in itself. But just think about, I know I have good friends that are in the real estate business.
Yeah.
Houses, you can't find a house.
That's right.
And when you do, you're going to pay premium price because people can sell their house today and make a mint. Well, but the problem is, where do you go?
See, that was my
there's
next thing.
There's not a house to move into.
I was thinking of making a profit, but I can't do that. I ain't got nowhere to go.
I mean, I guess if you had a motorhome, if you had a second house, if you had rental property, that
Look,
now is the time to sell. And this is the thing. I just got through talking to a buddy of mine that is in real estate. And I said, "Ooh, you're working early hours today," because I saw their vehicle when I passed by on my way. And they said, "Yeah, I mean, things are crazy." And that's it. Things are crazy. People are wanting every house they can scarf up. And I guess that's because of the pandemic. People are no longer restricted by boundaries.
No, you can work from home now.
But it's not even that. I can work from home in a population of a city of 60,000, and I can work for somewhere out of Chicago,
Right.
or from New York. And that's why you got all those folks that live in New York and all that madness they've been in and the restrictions they've been in and the quarantine that they've been in. And they're like, "I'm out of here." And they're buying up property left and right.
Now, you did see today that they are changing the COVID thing to where you can go without your mask now.
And
They
that's caused a
finally-
whole nother set of controversy because, they just released that you could go outside
Yeah.
and have a gathering if you were fully vaccinated without a mask. And now we've just said, Katie, bar the door and you can go anywhere.
Yeah. And
Which I'm glad of. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm vaccinated. I'm ready for bear, so I'm good to go.
Terry, I think after all of the smoke clears from this, and it may take 2 to 3 years before all this clears about the mask thing, I think you may in the end find out they really weren't doing all that they thought they were. I think it has a lot to do with germs when you touch with your hand.
But but mass hysteria, and this gets back to the same thing with the gas issues, with the toilet paper, with cleaning products. I mean, you still have a hard time trying to get cleaning products.
Yes, you do. It's not plentiful
I mean, you
at all.
still can go into a store and find out that whole shelf that had cleaning products on it was wiped out. It's gone. Somebody, like your mama, is going and buying everything under the sun. And that gets back to your point where we were talking about, the days that we used to look out for our neighbor. I think we do that at the core. There are people that are looking out for each other, but there's an awful lot of folks, and we have seen example after example after example. And that is, the only one I'm looking out after is me.
Yeah. There's a lot of those that get elected to offices, and they carry that attitude, to Washington, or we're about me, 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 me. And it puts a bad taste in my mouth.
It does. But I mean, with that hysteria, I think we start to surface, or I should say, the folks that surface to the top that have common sense are a lot less than the folks that just don't. I mean, it just makes you wonder, how do they function in this world? I mean, who goes to a gas station and pumps gas in a plastic bag?
Well, they're those kind of people.
You've seen example after example. They had a lady in in Alabama that went and got, what size would you say that gas tank is? I mean, those little...
Oh, that's a 5-gallon.
5-gallon. And she had what, 8 or 9 of those?
Yeah.
And she was not in a truck.
Nope, it was an
She's
SUV.
gonna close it up and she's going to drive home.
And if you're involved in a wreck in any shape, form, if you get hit, it ain't going to be pretty for you. The gas is going to fly all over you and you will burn quickly. That's a horrible way to go. And I don't know if you've ever been around anything like that, but Terry, it's horrible.
I think if we've learned anything with the pandemic is it's kind of scary to know that we don't use common sense and we don't sit back and say, okay, now let's don't panic over this. We are in panic mode.
It is. So is this the first time that America has gone through this panic buying, or has this happened before and I'm just not aware of it?
Well, we've seen this before. According to an article that was written back in 1962 during the Cuban Missile Crisis, when nuclear war seemed imminent, American families filled their basements with enough canned goods and bottled water to survive an atomic blast. Now think about that. I mean, I can imagine that was some scary times.
It had to be.
And Scotty, that there have been crazier things that have happened even before 1962. And do you remember Y2K?
Yes, I do very well.
Everybody thought that was going to shut down our computer system, our internet, whatever. We knew it.
Clocks were going to stop.
Everybody was in panic mode. And so I think that was a good question is, we call that panic buying. everybody runs to the store and gets toilet paper. All the idiots run out there and get plastic bags and run to the local store to get gas. And they're saying that panic buying is fueled, no pun intended, by anxiety and a willingness to go to lengths to quell those fears. And this is what I thought was an interesting quote. They're saying if everyone else on the Titanic is running for the lifeboats, then you're going to run too, regardless if the ship's sinking or not.
Well, you see that of stampedes of people. That happens a lot.
All it takes is one or two people. You've seen it before where one or two or three people, and now that you have, and this is 1962 that this happened, and think about Y2K. Now guess what you have at your fingertips?
Tell me.
A phone.
Yeah, and you see it a whole lot more.
You can see it, or you can exaggerate it a lot more. All it takes is a couple of folks saying, think about how many, did you get any text when the gas was supposedly in short supply? Did you get any buddies texting you or posting on Facebook, hey, have you gotten gas yet? Well,
if you'll remember that night, I posted on my weather page of, hey, is there a shortage of gas really? And it was ate up with comments, just covered with it of, I can't get gas in our town. It's empty right here in our little place.
And I know people that have told me, and this was done in good faith, that they had family members calling them, in the middle of the night. Have you gotten gas? Well, you need to get up right now.
Go get it while nobody's out.
Yeah, exactly. And they're in bed asleep. So we don't do good under stress.
Now, I don't know if you remember this or not. Do you remember the actor Brandon Fraser?
Yeah.
Do you remember the show that was made just about the Fallout thing back in the 60s called Blast from the Past, where his daddy's a scientist and he's built a underground thing for them to live in?
Underground bunker.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And a gas truck or something explodes near their house and he thinks that it's hit. And they go underground, and he's like 3 years old. And when he turns 21, they send him up to go get some supplies because they're getting low. And the world has changed.
I'm impressed that they lasted that long.
Oh, his dad was, the freak, the idiot. And it was the funniest thing that I have ever seen. That movie was really, really good.
But that just tells you that, and they were talking about in this article, there's a difference in being prepared. When you think that, like you said, when you've got what are the folks that go out and
preppers?
The preppers. And we talked about it in an earlier episode. There's a difference in thinking that something's going to happen. And they're even saying like with hurricanes. And we even see that even us. You go into a grocery store, it's going to be bad weather. What's the first thing that you see? Milk and eggs and bread. It's gone. So that's where everybody has a run on, you better get those things because you're going to need them. And you don't want to be the one that's going to be left out of that. But preppers is a little bit different, where they're anticipating that something's going to happen. It may not be tomorrow, but they're building up.
Yeah, it's not you go buy it all at one time. You just slowly build your bin.
But now with social media, you can take a small thing and turn it into widespread panic pretty quickly.
Now, one of the things that they're saying that is coming, and I think they're saying like late September this year, and it may not happen, but it's just talk out there. But diapers and feminine products will be a shortage of. Now, there's a lot of mamas out there that has never had to use a cloth diaper. And I'm not quite so sure they would know how to handle that situation.
I don't think they would like it at all.
Yeah. But that is two of the products they're saying.
Think about us, coffee drinkers.
I'd have a problem.
I know. You're a coffee drinker. I'm a coffee drinker.
Like when Angie gets mine, she usually gets like 8 of them at one time for me. And when I use those down, I order some more.
And she brings them to you.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's the way you operate.
Hey, I am like the man.
You must be. Well, I think what we need to do, this is just my opinion.
Okay.
Now, I'm not trying to cause any panic, but have you got gas in your vehicles?
I got a full tank.
Well,
because I'm scared to drive it.
Well, I think we need to go get some chicken wings. We need to load up on coffee and whatever else that may be a shortage of.
And then we're going on Facebook Market and sell this stuff at higher prices.
I don't know. I'm just trying to get ready because I'm getting panicked here.
So is the Colonel. Now, I wish I could tell you that panic buying would go away, but it's not. There's no certain area of the United States that does it more than the other. It's just a certain type of person that panics and goes and buys everything that they can and as much as they can. So my advice for the week is, learn something new. Learn how to plant a garden. Learn how to sew. Learn how to fix something. And most of all, make a friend this week. Remember, no man is a failure who has friends.
So, folks, don't forget about the contest that we've got going on.
What we're giving away?
Well, we're giving away these cool T-shirts, Secrets from the South.
Now, what do you got to do to get one, Terry?
Well, you got to post a photo, or you got to post a poster or picture, whatever else that indicates, hey, I'm listening to Secrets from the South, and this is where I'm listening from. And you can put it on any kind of social media platform that we have, which would be Instagram or Facebook, or they can put it on our website. They can send us an email from comments at Secrets from the South.
And we'll draw from all the folks that enter and send out some winners.
Absolutely. So we want to pick somebody that's from our own home state, Mississippi. We want to pick somebody that's living off somewhere else that's participating and is a listener of our show, and we thank you for it. And also somebody from another country. We have a bunch of countries that listen in, and we would love to be able to give a T-shirt to somebody that is, lives in wherever.
Yeah, it could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere. So participate, because it ends June the 1st.
We hope you enjoyed our podcast and will continue to listen more. We promise to provide stories that intrigue you, provide a little humor, reflect our heritage and culture, whether it's strange and alarming. Please leave us a review and let us know how we're doing. Let us know whether you liked or disliked. Do you have a story to share? If so, we'd like to hear from you. Please email us at comments@secretsfromthesouth.com and provide a brief description of your story along with contact information, and we'll be in touch. Until next time, a secret. Well, aren't you glad you didn't throw away that Sears and Roebuck catalog after all? Came in handy during the pandemic, didn't it?